At the start of the film, Melanie is desperately clawing her way out of the ground, trying to escape a Wendigo. Just as she nears the surface, the creature seizes her legs and drags her back. She kicks it in the face to break free and resumes digging frantically. Eventually, she emerges from the earth, only to be confronted by a deranged killer. Pleading for her life, she cries out that she can't die again, but the psycho shows no mercy and drives a pickaxe into her. 1 year later, Melanie's sister, Clover, and a group of friends are en route to the area where Melanie vanished, hoping to uncover answers. The last message they received from her was a video recorded outside a gas station, where she explained that after their mother's death, she couldn't bear to stay home. The group arrives at that same station, and Megan, who claims to be psychic, asks everyone to hold hands in an attempt to channel Melanie's energy. Before they get far, an RV nearly runs them over, cutting the seance short. Inside the gas station, Clover shows a photo of Melanie to the clerk, Hill. He doesn't recognize her, but immediately guesses she's missing, noting that people vanish in Glore Valley all the time. Determined, Clover announces that they'll head there next. The group drives through a violent storm, visibility rapidly deteriorating. Tensions rise as they argue about what to do. Suddenly, the car breaks through the downpour into a strangely calm clearing, an area seemingly shielded by an invisible barrier. The group stands in stunned silence as the storm retreats into the distance, leaving them in an unsettling calm. None of their phones have signal, and near a looming, dilapidated house lies a strange cross embedded in the ground. Curious, Clover reaches out toward the invisible barrier, letting the rain fall on her hand. That's when she spots a figure on the road, faint, shadowy, and for a moment, she's sure it's her sister. Without hesitation, she runs after it. Max, her ex-boyfriend, sees her go and grows uneasy as twilight creeps over even the storm-free zone. He reaches into the rain to pull her back, but by the time they look again, the figure has vanished. Inside the house, the rest of the group explores the strange interior. Odd relics fill the space, a wall calendar stuck on 1998, a massive hourglass, and pickaxes displayed like trophies. Though the electricity still works, the taps are dry. Nina signs the dusty guestbook and flips through the previous pages. Dozens of names appear, Melanie's among them, repeated entries that grow increasingly erratic and distorted with each signature. Meanwhile, her boyfriend Abe finds a bulletin board cluttered with outdated business flyers. As he peels them away, he reveals dozens of missing person notices, Melanie's included, but none of them list dates or contact information. When Clover enters, she sees the guestbook's title, Glore Valley. It feels like confirmation that the figure she saw was Melanie. Just then, Nina notices the hourglass has been flipped, but no one admits to touching it. Suddenly, a noise draws them to the window. Their car is gone. Panicked, they rush outside and spot it under the rain, headlights blazing. As they approach, the engine revs and the vehicle charges toward them. Screaming, they scramble back into the house. Determined to understand what they're dealing with, Megan, Max, and Clover head into the basement. To their surprise, it's an enormous living space. Scratches mar the windows that shouldn't exist underground. They find an old phone and a radio, but neither works. Upstairs, Abe hears something, faint, distant. He moves toward the sound, unaware of what's about to find him. Suddenly, a light flickers and dies. Nina calls out for Abe, but there's no response. Worried, she goes to look for him. When she switches on the light, she's met with a nightmare. Abe's body lies grotesquely severed in half, blood pooling beneath him. Frozen in horror, Nina screams. Downstairs, the others hear it. Max volunteers to check it out. He ascends the stairs cautiously, peeking into the room, only to see the slasher looming over Nina's lifeless body, a pickaxe buried in her chest. As the killer slowly turns his head, Max bolts down the stairs. Breathless Max warns the girls. Hide. They scatter just as the slasher follows him down. Max grabs a chair and smashes it across the killer's back, but the brute doesn't even flinch. Desperate, Max stabs him with a broken chair leg, but the slasher simply yanks it away and drives it through Max's eye, killing him instantly. As the killer prowls for more victims, Clover slips into the next room, moving carefully to snatch a kitchen knife. Meanwhile, Megan, hiding in a closet, is found. The slasher rips the door open and drags her out, hurling her into the wall. Before she can recover, he grabs her by the head and slams it into the floor again and again, until she stops moving. Clover charges and stabs the slasher in the back. He barely reacts. She stumbles away, terrified, sprinting through the house and passing the corpses of her friends. Reaching the forest, she trips and falls hard. Nearby, the same mysterious figure appears again. Clover reaches out, hope flickering in her eyes, only for the slasher to catch up and drive the pickaxe into her back. The hourglass turns over on its own. Suddenly, Clover, Megan, Max, Nina, and Abe all reappear in the house, right at the moment they began exploring. They're alive again, but something's wrong. Each of them remembers how they died, and now, their photos have joined the missing posters on the wall. Megan trembles. Something has a hold on us, she whispers. As they begin arguing over what to do, the lights flicker violently. The front door slams open. Abe rushes to shut it, but it creaks open again. In panic, they pile furniture to block it. Feeling faint, Megan sinks into a chair. This night, it's different, she says. Suddenly, Megan's body starts twisting strangely, and her eyes turn white. She throws her head back and screams loudly. The sound hurts so much that everyone covers their ears, and the light bulbs break, making the room dark. The friends use their phone flashlights and see that Megan is gone. Then, they hear a quiet voice and follow it to find Megan floating in front of some missing person posters. She points at each poster and repeats what the missing people said before they died. After another scream, she warns her friends not to let them in. Then her neck breaks and she falls dead. Max wants to check on her, but Abe tells him not to touch her in case the possession can move to someone else. Then, someone knocks on the door, but Abe looks outside and sees no one. The knocking continues, and they hear Melanie's voice asking for help. Clover wants to open the door, but Abe stops her, reminding her of Megan's warning. Melanie screams, and sounds show she is being attacked. Max removes the objects blocking the door, and Clover runs outside but finds no one. Across the road, an old shack suddenly appears with a rude message about Glore Valley on its door. An invisible force throws Clover to the ground. When Max tries to help, he is pushed back inside the house with the others, and the door closes. The shack door opens, and the force drags Clover inside. She thinks she's okay for a moment, but then she is pulled further inside and that door also closes. Inside the main house, Max tries many times to open the door but can't. Then he hears a sound like a key turning. He wants to run outside, but Abe stops him, saying Clover is probably already dead and they should leave to get help. Nina agrees, but Max ignores them and leaves anyway. In the shack, Clover finds creepy doll heads and an old lady wearing a mask to help her breathe. The lady is watching news about a mining accident in Glore Valley. Clover tries to open the door but can't. The lady comes closer and says the only way out is to survive the night or become part of the curse. Then the lady throws Clover down and makes her breathe through the mask, saying she must suffer like the cursed town. Clover's eyes turn black, and the old lady turns to ashes. Max goes inside the shack when the door opens. Abe and Nina run to their car and try to leave but find a huge monster blocking the road. They have to go back. Nina's door locks and she can't get out. She turns and sees Abe dead, and the slasher chases her while she screams. Back with Max, the shack is empty. The TV shows only static, and there are drawings of monsters on the table. He hears a noise upstairs and goes to check. He finds a room full of creepy dolls and a rocking chair moving by itself. Max stops the chair, tries to leave, but the noise starts again. A clown doll appears on the chair. Max grabs it and kicks it against the wall. Then he feels someone behind him. It's Clover wearing a mask. She attacks and kills Max, then leaves the shack. Outside, the slasher hits her with Abe's car. As she dies, her eyes go back to normal. At that moment, the hourglass flips again, and everyone appears back where they started. Nina is signing the guest book for the third time, and Megan's hair is falling out. Outside, a water tower has appeared. The friends block the doors with furniture and hide in the bathroom. Abe fills a glass with tap water, and Megan is surprised because it didn't work the first time. They all drink while listening to Clover's story, guessing that the woman is a witch and wondering what she meant. Then Abe starts coughing up blood. He wipes his hand on the shower curtain to hide it, but his coughing gets worse until his body suddenly explodes. Blood and guts splash on Nina's face, and when she tries to wash it off, her body explodes too. Clover, Max, and Megan panic and run to the hall. Megan starts coughing, and then her leg explodes, making her fall. Her stomach grows bigger, then explodes as well. She moves a little before another explosion kills her. Not wanting to die like that, Clover begs Max to help. Max puts his hands on her neck but can't go through with it, and he explodes too. Clover falls to the floor, hears whistling, and is shocked when Hill enters. He says she won't survive by staying still, and then she explodes too. The hourglass resets again, and everyone comes back to life. Megan notices she is growing new teeth. The others start looking around the house for clues. Clover finds a box with medical files and many IDs showing that Hill worked as a psychiatrist in many hospitals. They also find a newspaper with an article about a mining disaster in the area from 20 years ago. The mining accident killed over 1,000 people. Dr. Hill was brought in to help the survivors. The whole town got swallowed by the earth, which is why there are no other houses around and why the basement has windows. That floor used to be above ground. Nina opens a basement door and finds a scary tunnel but quickly closes it. Max finds some old VHS tapes and plays them on the TV. The first tape is a dirty movie, but the next shows Hill's experiments at the clinic. His patients were tired of dying and their bodies were suffering, like losing hair. One patient died, and another went crazy and started eating his friend. Eventually, that patient turned into a Wendigo. Hill's voice says his longest test lasted 11 nights. Then Hill talks to the group over the radio. He says 4 people can leave if the 5th one dies. Abe thinks they should listen to him, but the others are scared. Megan says she feels something and points to a desk drawer. Clover finds a map showing one of Hill's clinics. She thinks Hill is hiding there, but Abe says the building is gone. Clover calls Hill on the radio, telling him she wants to meet. Hill says he's waiting in the forest with Melanie. Clover runs out, ignoring Max and the girls, warning her it might be a trap. Abe thinks she made the right choice because 1 dead is better than 5. Nina doesn't like Abe's attitude. She stabs him in the back and tells the others to go after Clover. When Abe and Nina are alone, the slasher shows up to kill them both. In the forest, Clover steps on a bear trap. A shadow pulls the chains, dragging her into the darkness. Soon, Max and Megan enter the forest and find the remains of the sunken town. They hear strange noises and look up to see a Wendigo in a tree. They start running, but Megan trips and falls onto the skylight of a sunken house. The glass cracks, and Max grabs her hand to pull her up. The Wendigo grabs Megan's ankle and breaks the glass, making both fall inside the house. Max watches helplessly as Megan is dragged away to her death. At the same time, Clover crawls out of the darkness, and Max finds her. Then a shadow appears and shows itself to be Melanie, who is also turning into a Wendigo. Max takes the bear trap off Clover's leg and traps Melanie's face in it. He helps Clover run away, and they hide at the entrance of a collapsed mine. They hug and talk about what might happen next. Then they hear the Wendigo coming again. Clover asks Max to end her mercifully. Max uses a glass shard to cut her neck, and she dies. Max drinks water from a leak and goes out to face Melanie but explodes. A flashback shows Melanie leaving home for New York, wanting a better life. She asked Clover to come, but Clover said no. Melanie then turned into a Wendigo because this is actually a nightmare. Clover wakes up in the house with the others, except Megan. This time, they are in the living room instead of their usual places. Abe feels something strange on his back and lifts his shirt to show his body is already changing. But his friends say Abe looks normal. When Clover asks how many nights have passed, Abe says about 4. Nina corrects him and shows a book with her signature 13 times. Clover compares it to others and sees no one stayed longer. This means tonight is their last chance. Looking out the window, they see more buildings have appeared outside. They still can't find Megan, and Abe thinks she became part of the night, like the witch said. He wonders why they don't remember everything, so he shows a video on his phone. It shows Clover with a worm in her cheek and her face getting infected. Another video shows them killed by a masked ghost. Then one shows them stabbing a Wendigo in the boiler room. After a clip of Nina with bleeding eyes, there's a recording of Hill checking on bodies. When Hill leaves, Megan appears on camera as the only survivor of Night 12. She says she will find something to help them, then leaves. Suddenly, a siren sounds. Looking outside, they see all their enemies coming at once. Running hasn't worked, so Clover grabs a pickaxe and says she'll fight to save Megan. The others decide to help her. They go through a tunnel in the basement and find a sunken house. Entering through a window, they see a Wendigo in another room. They try to be quiet, but the Wendigo finds them and attacks. When it knocks Nina down, Clover stabs its leg with a pickaxe to stop it. The group runs as more Wendigos arrive, attracted by the noise. After running through many rooms, the friends enter a mine tunnel and cross it until they find another sunken house. They get inside through the garage door. Suddenly, the slasher breaks the skylight and jumps in. Max throws things at him to keep him busy so Clover can leave alone. In an open part of the mines, Clover finds Melanie, who quickly knocks her down. Clover tries to run up the stairs, but Melanie grabs her and makes her fall. Clover raises her hands to show she means no harm and talks gently, but Melanie doesn't listen. Then Clover tackles Melanie, making her fall on a stake that kills her. Before leaving, Clover says she loves her sister. Meanwhile, the others work together to fight the slasher. They use many objects to fight him. When he falls down, they lift a heavy hammer and smash his head to kill him. But they hear Wendigos coming, so they run away. Back with Clover, she keeps searching the mines. She hides when a Wendigo comes too close. Finally, she finds the clinic and hears Megan screaming from a locked room. Megan is tied to a chair, and a crazy Wendigo is chained next to her. Desperate, Clover looks for keys in other rooms until she reaches the office. There, she finds her file on a desk and security cameras watching the whole area. Suddenly, Hill comes in and locks the door. While drinking his coffee, he explains that Glore Valley uses Clover's fear like a battery to keep things running, and the monsters are her fears coming to life. When he puts down his mug, Clover moves it under a leak in the ceiling. Hill drinks more coffee and then explodes. Now Clover takes Hill's keys and runs to save Megan. The Wendigo breaks free from the wall, but Clover and Megan work together to push the door closed and lock it before it can get them. Both groups run as fast as they can while Wendigos chase them. Nina's group takes the stairs and escapes. Clover and Megan have to dig underground like Melanie did and come out under a cross. The Wendigos try to pull them back, but the others arrive just in time to help them get away. The last grain of sand falls in the hourglass, but this time it doesn't reset. The storm outside ends, and everything goes back to normal. The friends get in the car and finally leave. Later, a new group arrives, and you can hear Hill whistling. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.